Hello and welcome to another episode of Couch Coaches. I'm John Lazaron and I'm here with my good mate, co-host Richard, the bandwagon conductor. Lady, how's it going, mate?
The bandwagon's back up and running, brother.
Yep.
Oh, what a game! It's been, we've had a few sad shows. I think that, but hopefully we can bring a bit of energy this week, like the Waz ball energy on Sunday Arvo at Sungport.
Yeah, no, I thought that you would be one that would be well pleased that that bandwagon was getting pretty empty. Those carriages were getting pretty empty. It was over the last month, but I guess it's been filled up right again just from Sundays.
Doesn't take long. Everyone's back on board. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my my doubts last week.
We all know.
I did tip the Panthers. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it there straight away. Even at half time, when we were, what was it, 10-0 or 10-6, I think it was. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen in the second half, but yeah, kudos, man. Like some of those young fellas came in, really asking some selection questions, and they played like they wanted to be there, and it will give some welcome sort of headaches for Webster as some of these big fellas start to come back, as we've seen a couple of them come back this week.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, did I tip the Warriors? I'm pretty sure
did.
I did. Yeah. See, loyal and faithful.
You insane?
Yes. And I remember when the game was on, I was like, I'm not going to let Richard get away with this. I'm not letting him get away with this. Yeah. After I said, no, this is not right. This is not right. But I'm glad that. But the thing is, a lot of people would have been in your shoes. I mean, even I was thinking, like, this would be. They would have to pull out a magic trick to win this, and no pun intended, but magic round, magic trick, they did it, and with a depleted team, and it makes you think, what was it that actually got them over the line? Because there were a lot of things I was looking at in that game, and when it started off with Tuapiki kicking that ball dead from the kickoff, and then they scored on their first set, it was just like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? But they held on. I mean, it wasn't pretty, but they held on, and like you said, halftime 10-4, I think the score was, and they were holding on. And even, I mean, again, the bandwagoners, I saw on halftime, looked at the social media pages, a lot of them were commenting saying, "Oh, it's close, but we're not in this. It's another loss, guys." And people were like, it's funny how so reactive the Warriors fans are, and they were saying that there was one guy who put, like, to take the L. It's going to be another L, guys. Trust me, believe me. And when the game was ended, I remember everyone just giving him a lot of stick, well-deserved stick, by the way. And that post is gone now. It's deleted. I was looking for it again to see what else everyone was saying, but for some reason it's just gone. So it's like, another just a little warning to the Warriors fans out there. If you're going to be a fan, stick to the team. And I understand we can criticize because sometimes you need to be honest with yourself and be honest with our team. Sometimes they're just playing really flat and bad, but you stick with them and you don't give them the criticism in such an awful way that sometimes our fans do. And that's why, so many times in this podcast, I've said it so much, I get really annoyed with bandwagoners. But anyway, let's move on. Let's keep on going with the positive stuff, because what did you see is what was not so much the turning point, but what do you see as what gave us the win? Because we were playing against, yes, a Panthers team without Nathan Cleary. However, they still had most of the other stars there. Jerome Luai, Brian To'o, James Fisher-Harris, Moses Leota, everyone. Dylan Edwards, Liam Martin, Isaac Yeo, they're all there. They were all still there. They were still there. So what was it that gave us this win? Because obviously it was a reshuffle of the back line. Chance went into 5'8". Tamari Martin, who had been really, really, really sluggish throughout this whole season, moved into and pretty much done nothing. And a lot of people were calling for him to be gone because he wasn't doing anything or step up and do something, into Sean Johnson's boots, and did really well there. A lot of people coming on who have had really minimal NRL game time. What do you think was the difference there in this game that got us over the line?
I think it was just, everyone kind of knew their role, and everyone obviously knew that the team was in a rut. I think, you mentioned Tamari Martin. He was probably there was a lot of talk about, man of the matches who stood out the most. And I mean, you probably could have given it to 4 or 5 people, but for me, probably was Te Maire Martin. I think particularly in that second half. First half, he probably didn't do anything too much, but that second half he laid on, I think, 3 try assists, some really good kicking. We've talked a lot on this podcast about when he's been on the left, the ball's just not going to him. When it does, his kicking game is non-existent, but he obviously just had a bit more freedom without, I suppose, the pressure of SJ. But there, obviously, we love SJ, but when he's there, he's the general, and he's calling the shots. So just giving him a little bit of freedom was huge.
Well, he had no choice, did he?
Yeah, exactly.
He had no choice. He had to step up. Yeah.
And Chance on that first half, I suppose he was the one who was laying it on the first half. I read someone was comparing him to he looked like a Dally M5A of the year, and in that first half in particular, he was playing amazing. So I think a good little combination there. Obviously, Egan going down early is we hate to see it, because we've talked a lot about his sort of recurring head knocks, and I mean, it turned out putting Paulie Roach on the bench there was a masterstroke, and I think he's only played 2 NRL games. One of them he got 3 or 4 minutes. So technically it was a second game, and he did an amazing job off the bench. So I don't know. It was just everyone sort of. I don't think you could pick someone out and say they had a bad game, could you?
No, not really. I think everyone, stood up. I mean, there were a lot of Pompey haters out there, but I thought Pompey was quite outstanding as well. And and you mentioned Chance as well. I thought his energy and enthusiasm, and that's the way I'm putting it right now, really sparked the team, because his that energy to get the ball and take runs up himself, and run it up the middle himself, and just sparked the team, because if you watch the game properly, the team was actually getting they were making good meters. They were getting a lot of good forward, and they were again, speaking of Chance, when he had the mindset to take the quick tap and go, and Isaiah, and he just bumps them off, and even he admitted after the game he shouldn't have done that. He said it was a stupid error that he made, and but for him to have that sort of just the energy, their mindset just to do that. And for me, what they did in that little period of time when they scored 2 tries to take the lead is that they ran the ball through the middle, because I think a lot of the times we're going wide, we're going wide on the right hand side all the time, and I think we tied their forwards out. When they're one less forward down, you tie their forwards out, and then we execute it on the wing towards to each wing. And even though it was the centers that scored, it was going that way anyway. So it was just, I think that was just real clever footy in my eye. But there was another thing I was thinking, because I was wondering, because as we know, depleted Warriors team, reshuffle and everything. I was just thinking to myself, what is the difference? And because you look at the stats, for example, so far after 11 rounds, I think it's 11 rounds. Yep.
Yeah,
I think it's 11 rounds. Yeah. You look at the stats, team stats, for example. Warriors are quite high up there for a lot of the good positive stats. Position.
We also haven't had the bye though, eh? So.
Yeah, exactly. So 52% position. Warriors are leading that stat. On attack, they're coming fourth they're coming first for decoy runs. Running meters, all run meters, the Warriors are number 1. For all runs, the Warriors number 1. Kick return meters, the Warriors are number 1. What else?
As I said before, we have played 1 extra game than a lot of other teams. So you have to put that into when you look at some of those stats.
Yeah, it is. I get that, but the point is, the thing is, they're still doing things. So I was looking into that, and I was wondering why. And I looked at the game we played as well on Sunday, and I think for me, the problem has been throughout the last month, and including what happened on Sunday as well, even though we got tries, is execution. Because there were a lot of times when the Warriors were in the Panthers, inside their 20. And we had a lot of sets in their 20 which weren't converted into points. And I know that not every time you're going to be there, you're going to convert sets into points. But I've noticed over the last 4 or 5 games we've struggled to convert those sets into points when we're in there, inside their 20. and so the opposition's 20. So I think execution been a big problem. Not getting the last pass right, or the running, because we've been penalised a lot for decoy runners as well. So just not getting it all right, and so I just think we're doing a lot of good things. We're just not finishing it off well, in a lot of areas. The stats prove that, but also ill discipline. We're quite high up there with the penalties. Penalties are still hurting us. I mean, that penalty right at the end, I don't know what actually happened, because I know that Pompey did that massive hit on the yeah, was his name Cole? I think his name is.
What actually was the penalty for? Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to think.
Figure it out.
Yeah, apparently it was for a legal strip after the ball had been knocked back.
Okay,
Apparently, and yeah, so apparently it was from a legal strip. But then I had a lot of confidence that Dylan Edwards was going to miss that, because I saw his first kick that he missed. He missed his, when he missed the conversion on his own try. It was a shocker. I could have done better than that. And then I just had a feeling
not the first choice kicker, is he? Obviously last year they Crichton would come in and kick when Cleary was away. So yeah, he was obviously not the first choice. It was definitely very much a kickable penalty, and Union, guys would hit that with their eyes closed, but they probably just don't practice it as much in league. And
well, 30 meters out. But the thing is, it was about 30 plus meters out, but it was a dead straight kick, and I just had a feeling he wasn't going to kick it. I think the pressure was on. I think he was feeling a bit nervous because he had missed a lot of the other kicks, prior. But I just thought it was a really gutsy win, and they all stood up, and I thought we defended pretty well considering, and stuff like that. And there's been a lot of talk going around right now about what's going to happen now, with players, eventually, slowly, gradually coming back. What do we do? People are saying, nah, stick with this team. And again, that's the old reactive sort of thing that the Warriors fans do, because they think, oh, we won here, so we can't change anything. We have to leave it the way it is. But it's not always the case, But because just say, for example, they brought maybe this week they get hammered, and then they'll change. They'll go back to like, oh, I'll bring the old boys back in. But I just think that it's good. It's good for the club to win this way. That they were up against it. No one gave them a shot. I mean, the TAB would have been raking in the money from all the multi losses, because I'm pretty sure there'll be.
Oh nah, man! I used to work at the TAB, and the faithful will continue to And saying that, that game did lose my syndicate like a $480 multi-win. We had an alternative point start in every game Magic round, and I think we went 7 from 8. We had the Panthers -6 or something, and I was like, nah, go -30. We'll be fine. You know? But amazing.
But it was great to watch. And the best part about it for me was that when the Panthers had scored that first try within in their first set, we had a guest over, and my wife and her, they were about to head out and do something. My wife just looked at me and laughed at me, and she just said to me, "Oh, looks like you guys are gonna get hammered again." This is what she said. She's laughing. You guys are not making the top 8. She was doing it to roll me up, and I was just like, get out the door, get out the door. But and when she came back, I said, "Hey, the Warriors won." She left me, my little boy, to watch the game. Came back, we won. She goes, "Oh, really?" She was a bit shocked, but never have I been happier to shove that in someone's face.
That's the biggest win of Joe Ash's life.
Yep. He'll remember that. Well, I'll make sure he remembers that.
Where do you put? There's been a lot of talk about, where you put this win in all time. Are you putting it up there, or?
I don't know. A lot of people I've heard the same thing. A lot of people are putting up there is the club's biggest win in history. I don't know if it's that far, but I think it'd be up there in terms of top 10. And the reason why I say top 10, but the thing is, there's been so many games you probably amazing games you've forgotten about as well. But the reason why I say it'd be up there, it'll be one that people remember. They put it that way. It'll be a game that people will always remember, because the Warriors, 4 or 5 game losing streak, up against it, so many injuries. 9 or 10 starters not playing. Tohu Harris, the captain, pulls out last minute. Reshuffled backline and everything. I just think that the way they went about it, and you would think that no one gave. I mean, except for the faithful, anyone outside the Warriors faithful wouldn't have given them a chance. No one would have given them a chance.
I'm a relatively faithful kind of guy, but even I hadn't given them a chance in that game. From what I'd seen the last few weeks, I knew the Panthers were without Cleary, but I mean they're the 3-time premiers, So to do that against, and as you said before, like Cleary was out, but I mean Luai in that first half was, he was like he was had Buddy the KY on him or something. He was all over the show. Nice try assist. He's probably putting his hand up to potentially play Sips and State of Origin in a few weeks, and then so for them to sort of come back. And how good was the crowd? Like when Edwards was kicking that final goal, it was like it was a Wild's home game, Like they're just, they're obviously they must be the most likable team in the comp at the moment. Like it just seems like even all the Aussie sort of a few Aussie podcasts to listen to and a few sort of sports personalities, they're just, everyone's like, oh, the Waz, how good. I saw the NRL roast. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but he's a Dragons fan. The Dragons obviously had a bye last week, and he'd adopted the Waz for the week. They were his Magic Round team, and I think he said the Waz are 1-0 with him. So if you're listening, our roast, just keep on the Waz wagon. We'll need it. We definitely need to pick up a few extra wins than we would have anticipated. But maybe the sort of journey to the top eight's not over just yet.
No, I mean I never thought it was. I mean we've only gone up one spot, to 13th place at the moment. But looking at the ladder, let me just look at the ladder. I think we are only three or 4 points outside the top 8. Let me just check. Points 12. Yeah, we're only 3 points out the top 8 because we're on 9 because of the draw. So we're only 3 points outside the top 8. But got the Cowboys on 10 points, Bulldogs on 10 points, Sea Eagles on 11, Dragons on 12, Knights on 12, Roosters on 12. Raiders and Broncos on 14, so it's quite congested. You know how we were talking about that last time? It's quite a congested ladder at the moment, which means that it's happening because there are so many games that you can't predict because you think that if this team's going to win, then all of a sudden an upset happens. It's pretty much happening every week. So it's actually good. It's actually helped. I mean, it's good for us that other results have helped us in a way to keep in that sort of race. I mean, we'll talk about this later on, but I'm still, believing the Warriors can do one over the Dolphins this weekend, and with a bye coming in as well, that would help us up. That would help us a lot, in terms of getting back on track with everything. But I mean, going back to the game, like Te Maire Martin, we spoke about Te Maire Martin just before, but he needed to step up, didn't he? And he did step up. He had no choice. That's how I saw it. It wasn't because, he just had all of a sudden had an awesome game. He had no choice but to step up because he was playing in the number 7 jersey. And I was worried. I was concerned before the game how he would go with his kicking from, going from the game before previous game. But his kicking was pretty good. I didn't think his kicking was bad. I like the fact that he was kicking quite close to the sideline to the point where when we reached the defending player, they had no choice but to surrender, sort of thing, because I was so close to the sidelines. I liked his tactics there, but I liked also the tactics of the Warriors in general. It didn't look like their normal game plan. It looked like they were doing a little kind of different things as well. And I think they just played well. And obviously, there's a few selection headaches for Webster, but he's pretty much named a pretty similar team. We'll go into that a bit later on, but this is not Warriors related. This is something that there's been quite a bit of news going around, around NRL, but some stuff that's been happening. Brad Arthur's being sacked from the Eels and stuff. But there was another point that was brought up by Corey Parker, and I just thought a little bit about it. And I wonder what considering that the Warriors have got a bye following the game with the Dolphins this weekend, he reckons that the 2 points for a bye should be scrapped completely. He said there's no point to it. I can't remember every word, everything that he said, but I just want to see what your thoughts on that. Considering we've got a bye coming up as well.
I mean, it's not really worth kind of getting too far into it, is it? I mean, it's just all it does is kind of, I suppose, lures people into a false sense of security if they're potentially on the fringe of the 8 in the last few weeks. We've been there before. The Warriors have been there before, and missed out 9th to 10th. Tigers would know that feeling. The Tigers would know that feeling well as well. But I mean, it's pretty pointless, to be honest with you, having it. But I don't know whether it's kind of worth delving into it too much.
No, because the reason I bring it up is because, for example, if we can beat the Dolphins this weekend, and then that's 4 points, well. Right? Yeah, the bye, it gives us 4 points. It takes us to 13, which will, probably still be outside the 8, but, you're going on depending on other results. But, we'll still be there, we're closer to it, so it helps. But every team gets a bye, don't they? So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really change anything, does it? But that's why he brought it up. He brought it up.
I mean, he's got a point in there. It's pointless, but I mean, it just adds a little bit of mystery. So I don't mind it. Keep the bye. I'm team keep the bye.
Yep, fair enough.
Roy Barker, you're a grubby Queenslander.
And okay, well, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up with you quickly, because there's so much to unpack from this game that I still want to get into the team coming up, because that's a big talking point about going from this game against the Panthers going into the Dolphins. But did Mitch Barnett just earn himself a New South Wales jumper on that performance?
I don't know if I'd say on that performance, but I think, his performance over the last 2 months, probably, yes. He's been playing absolute brilliant footy. I see he's playing second row again this week. I'd definitely rather see him play front row. I want to see him back in that 10 jersey, and I think they can do it. Like, there's no reason. I think they probably should be giving. I wouldn't have minded seeing Laban sort of get a start. But he obviously, I think he got a start a few weeks ago, and maybe it wasn't his greatest game. So maybe they still think still think he's a little bit green. But I mean, I've seen a few potential benches, and it's like him, Cam McGuinness, Ula Kawatu, and someone else. It's a scary looking bench, like you would not want to have. It was like another big guy. I can't remember who it was. I think it was actually, I hate to say it was like Braithen Esther's projected team. Everyone's doing their projected teams. I'm sure. I say everyone's doing it. I'm sure that we will do it in the next couple of weeks. I think Origin's 2 weeks away, is it? Yeah, 5th of June or something. So
and everyone's doing their predicted teams, like you're saying. I saw Willie Mason's one. Willie Mason brought Mitch Barnett into his. There've been a few people that brought in their Mitch Barnett into his. I've been saying it for a while now, and I just think that I thought he was amazing. He probably, he probably doesn't take the limelight compared to like Tuapiki, in Chance, Tamari Martin.
Oh no, it's not a forward's job, not a front row's job to do it, and he is effectively a front row playing second row.
Yeah,
he's just been consistently being one of the 2 or 3, best players on the field pretty much every game this year, almost. So and he's looking, he's doing well in our Wally M points as well. So
in his leadership, he's kept them for this week coming up as well, because with Wade Egan out as well with HIA on those concussion protocols. But I just think that I don't think you can look past them. I mean, there are some other teams that've got their predicted teams out. They're adding Junior Polo in there. I mean, what the heck no, nothing against Junior Polo, but what has he done?
Yeah, he's been there.
He's been there, and he's just going on names. Sometimes there are a lot of teams that get picked just on names. You know what I mean? Just on their name and in their history. For example, one of the victims of that is probably Dylan Edwards on the Panthers. Form fullback for many years and stuff. And I know, don't get me wrong, Tedesco is awesome, great player, but he probably deserves to be there. At least once in the last few years, it just doesn't get a shot because of some bigger names they got put in. Like Latrell Mitchell's name has been put in, is being put into all these predicted teams, for example. But what has he done? What has he done this year?
No, I don't want to see Latrell there. I like Latrell, but he's just, he's not playing good footy.
No.
I think there's probably maybe some personal stuff. I just feel like he's just one of those he's just all out of sorts, and he's had a suspension. He had that little he swore on the radio earlier in the season, and he just
no.
I mean, there's still talk that he could play centre, but I feel like there's enough there's enough guys out there with the likes of
Yep.
sort of Stags and obviously Tommy T's out, but Stags, Lomax, Bradman Best,
Yep.
I mean, I'd be happy with
But that's
any
my
of
point.
those. Yeah. Any
Yeah,
of those
that's
guys.
exactly my point. That's exactly my point, because his name is still being tossed up there.
It was
for
more of a
consideration.
Fittler thing. I think that hopefully that Madge is going to come in there and in New South Wales and make a few selections, select on form as opposed to on name. And I mean, in saying that, I mean Tedesco's probably playing his best season in probably the last three or four seasons. Like he's been fantastic this year. So, but yeah, no, Dylan Edwards is a good example, because I mean, what does the guy need to do? He's built for Origin. Like he just body on the line. He's fast. He's like so reliable defensively for a little guy. So I mean, he'll be there. He'll get his shot eventually. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Couple of weeks time. Yeah, we'll probably be able to do a bit more in-depth analysis just on that. There's obviously been a few. See, I'll bring it up now. So I'm talking about Queensland this time, but my start bench drop for this week, with Cameron Munster's out obviously. So I've got a couple of options to take him. So basically, I've got a start bench drop: Tommy Dearden, Ezra Mam, and Sam Walker.
For Munster's 5'8" position.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Let's say one starts, one's in the squad, and the other one's not in the squad.
Okay, in that case, I for the number 6 jersey, I honestly would probably go with Tommy Dearden. I'm a big fan of Dearden. I think he's awesome. Like, if you put him to any team, he does the job well. He's fast as well. He's a great playmaker. I would have Tommy Dearden. Mam will be in the squad. And I would get rid of Walker. Walker's more of a halfback more than anything than a 5'8". Yeah. So, that's how I would put. That's my team. That's my start. Yeah.
I mean, I think like those two are probably the best. I think like Walker will be, once Cherry Evans in 5 years' time, when Cherry Evans retires, Walker will be still waiting to get his shot. But I think I'd give Mam a go. I just think he's like, I love Dearden. I think they're both going to be, I imagine one of them's going to be in there. They're both playing great footy, both young fellas. But Mam's just got that little bit of extra spark, hey? And it's sort of, I think you find with a lot of these a lot of the NRL teams at the moment, like, the halfback's obviously a really important position, but the 5'8" sort of just adds that spark and takes some of the pressure off the 5'8". And I think, either of those players could do it. But I'll go Mam. And then I'll have Dearden sort of on the bench, or you probably could have him on Dearden on the bench. He can probably cover extra positions. He can probably cover hooker as well. And then Walker will, as I said, he's more of a 7, so he'll get his shot once Cherry Evans finally retires. And on New South Wales, do you think Luai will be, after that performance, do you think he did enough to cement their number 6 jersey?
Well, he's the incumbent, isn't he? And again, will it be a name thing? But he's done pretty well. I'm just trying to think of other Sixers that they would be in contention. There's always talk of Matt Burton, but halfback, it'll be hard to look past. Well, the thing is that there's a little talk going around about Mitchell Moses being the one to come in, but how can you bring him in just maybe after one game? He didn't play in the weekend, didn't he? He didn't play in the weekend. Don't get me wrong, awesome player, amazing player, and changes. Parramatta looks a lot different when he's on there. A lot of teams do when their main playmaker is on there. But I think you can't just bring Mitchell Moses in after such a long injury rut and then bring straight. I think Nico Hines deserves to be there, especially when the Sharks are doing so well.
I think on the Moses thing, like there's probably about 3 or 4 players in the comp who could do that, but he's just not quite one of them. Cleary obviously would be. I think like Munster would be the same. I'm sure that if Munster was, coming out of an injury, and they had the chance to pick him, they'd just say, you're there because you're built for this. You're built for this format. But Moses hasn't proven himself. He hasn't really had a chance to prove himself in Origin, but I think when you've got someone playing so well, and I think a lot of people are still worried about Hines because there was that game where he came in. I think came and played centre. I think quite late in the game and made a few bad defensive reads. But he was playing our position. He didn't. And then the rest of that, I think there was that last year there before, and then Fittler just didn't pick him at all for the rest of the series. And it was like, are you blaming him for that loss? Like he came in when, it was frustrating. So
and it kind of affected him really badly. Like he came out,
it did.
Instead it affected, kind of traumatized him, didn't it? And you can understand why, but I don't think he was given a fair shot. I mean, I'm sure he's the nicest guy, but I just don't like the Sharks and Nico Hines, and I get rolled up when he wins 6 out of 10 points every time he plays or doesn't play, but I just think in fairness, if you're going to look at it, I mean you can't look past him because he's doing all the goods. The Sharks, for example, are on a winning streak, but then it was about like what people say about the Warriors. We're beating these teams, but can we beat the big teams? And we did that on the weekend, which is good. But the Sharks have done it. They beat the Roosters, and I think I can't remember who they beat previously. Was it the
Storm the week before?
Yeah, that's right.
Without Hines as well.
Yeah, which says a lot. Not that it wasn't just a fluke; they were able to repeat that. Again. So they're proving themselves well. And Hines, he's been part of that master plan for them that's getting them there. So how can you look past them? But wouldn't be surprised if other names come in just on names. Like again, I wouldn't be surprised if Latrell gets in there somehow. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the squad. But I don't know how he deserves to be in the squad. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't be surprised. But I think there's other players playing well. I think you got to look to the future. I think the fact that it's a new coach, he's got an opportunity here to sort of make a point and say, like, we're not going to. I think New South Wales have done that for the last few years. They've play guys out of position, and I think they've had the better squad the last probably 4 or 5 seasons, but they've only won 1 or 2 of those ones. I think don't get me started on 2020. That was just like I still have nightmares watching Edric Lee and Brinko Lee in the backline for Queensland, and just the state of that Queensland backline, and the Blues still managed to lose. I think Butler should have been kicked off. He should have lost his job then, but they kept him around for a few more years. But no, I'm sure, as I said, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about Origin the next few weeks.
Especially when you support the Blues and I'm the Maroons supporter. I can't wait for this. Can't wait for this.
Exactly.
Yeah. But okay, moving on. Look, I know we usually do this towards the end of the in the podcast where we talk about team lists and stuff. But can we go straight into the Warriors team list, because I reckon it's just to put a bit of extra talk about it, because it's a team that's reshuffled. A lot of players filling in there, but they've brought a few players back. I see Roku Berry comes back into centre. He's coming back in. Also, who else have we got here? The halves are still the same with Chance at 6 and Tamari Martin, and we're more than happy with that. Freddie Lussick comes in to replace Wade Egan. That's the one talking point I want to bring up with you. But also, Marata Nyakura comes back in as well, which is awesome. But okay, let's start with the hooking position, because Freddie Lussick and Paul Roach. Paul Roach had a really awesome game, but they're very different. They play different styles, don't they? I think, for example, Freddie Lussick probably has a better defensive game than Paul Roach, but I think Paul Roach probably has a better passing and running game. So, do you think, he hasn't made the 17, Paul Roach, but they're in 18. Do you think he's a bit hard done by there?
I suspect that they'll get him on there somewhere. Like I just feel like, I mean, and Webster's obviously got, like, I don't probably always agree with it, but he's obviously got like his theory is that it's like there's a pecking order, and I don't mind that, and obviously Egan's out, like Lussick's obviously has been the clear for the last 2 or 3 seasons, the clear backup hooker, and this is his time to shine. So I mean I agree. I mean, Paulie Roach was amazing. He one of the best on the park the other week, and to come off, like play a lot more minutes than he was probably expecting, and to be a relatively late call up, he was great. So he's a real find, someone that will see plenty more of in the Warriors jersey for years to come. But Yeah, I mean, I did expect Lassuk to get the 9 jersey. I think it's just the way that this culture, which Webbs has sort of built up. Yeah, potentially if Lassuk, doesn't have a great game this week, maybe, and Egan's out for longer than expected, maybe Roach will get a shot. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see one of these switcheroos with someone on the bench see Roach come in, because I mean, we've seen, especially having Wade Egan at number 9, we've seen how beneficial it is to have a backup hooker on the bench, because once something goes wrong, you don't really,
But who do you take off though?
Who is it? Nuakure, Jazz,
Ale,
and Laban,
and players who deserve to be there. I mean, who do you replace there, or who do you replace in the sideline, which obviously would be Freddie. But if they don't, who do you replace? Because Dylan Walker at 13, he was amazing.
Yeah,
I honestly have so much respect for Dylan Walker, because obviously he's not a built forward, but he plays like a forward. He plays with the same strength and energy as a forward, does the meters and stuff like that, and he's he's got playmaking skills, and that's why they try to use Tohu as well. To be that sort of like second first player before it goes to Johnson, or second player and second man out. So I just think I've got a lot of reps for Dylan Walker. He's awesome.
Maybe Laban.
I can't see.
Maybe Laban. I mean, he's the only
one. He had
a
pretty good game,
though. Yeah, but I think like Jazz, especially with Tohu out, I think like Jazz and Dylan Walker, like you wouldn't normally have them both on the bench, but if one of them started, you can kind of afford to have them both there. And last week, I thought they were both amazing. Just playing that sort of veteran's hand. And then Ale, I mean, you obviously need some proper big middle cover, and he'll provide that. And I mean,
you think Jazz is there for that?
Well, he's not proper big though, is he? He's still like
What I'm trying to say is that because you got Tom Ale there, obviously for front row cover, Murata can do both. Nuakure can do both. He can do front row or in the second row as well. Jacob Laban as well. So do you think that Jazz has been looked upon as the one to be cover hooker if need be? Normally they would have a back there, and I mean, when I was looking at the squad, and you got Harris Tavita, he's back as well, but he's in the reserves as well. I mean, he could slot in there, but it's hard to know who to take out, because you want Nuakure there. He's one of the stars. Tom Ale's been doing pretty well for the minutes he's been getting. He's been doing pretty well, coming off the bench. Jazz, I thought Jazz had a pretty poo season, to be honest, but I thought he did pretty well on Sunday. He ignited the team as well. You could see with his tackles. I remember one time when he tackled one player, the player knocked the ball on. He was just screaming in his face. I mean, I'm not saying I tolerate that, but you could see that he was pumped for the game, and he had a really good game. He had one of his better games, and I just don't know who you take off. It's going to be hard. I mean, it's a good thing to have selection headaches, but I just don't know who you take off, because I thought Paul Roach would have been starting hooker, to be honest, or at least on the bench, but it hasn't happened. And I thought Harris Tavita would have slotted in somewhere in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Harris Tavita might have got to go if he was back a week earlier. Well, I suspect he would have. They may not have made those changes they did last week, but you can't really. Yeah, I think they probably have to go with Damar Martin and Chance again, and just cross your fingers and hope that they can put on another good performance. It'd be great to have the boys back at Mount Smart. I feel like they haven't played there for about 3 or 4 weeks now, so it'd be awesome to see them out. I'm not sure if it's sellout. Have you seen anything about that?
Not sure, but wouldn't be surprised if if after that performance it sells out again. But going back to the team again, I think if Tuapiki hadn't played a great game, I suspect he would have probably gone back to New South Wales Cup, and then Chance would have gone into number 1, and then Harris Tavita would have taken the 6th jersey. That's what I'm thinking. But because on the back of his performance, which was amazing, scoring the winning try and that clutch kick, it was that conversion. Man, it was an awesome game. Played a game, and he nearly didn't play. Apparently, he's got a baby due. So he nearly didn't play, but it causes a lot of selection headaches, not just for the week in week out stuff, but because you can see that Tuapiki, he can play this level. He's proven himself in the short time that he's played. He can play at this level. he can play at this level. I mean, scouts are going to be people wanting him for other clubs. And how long can he last and say I'm staying loyal to the Warriors until he goes, no, I need to go somewhere where I'm going to get regular, first grade time. How long does he last for? But because I think he's amazing. I want him to stay. But will he get a bit disgruntled if he's not being picked in the first grade team every week? Another selection headache, but yeah. Anyway, but Rocco Berry's back in. If I heard that Tua, he was injured, so I think that's why he wasn't considered. But I think that if he wasn't injured, I would have kept him there over Rocco. That's my personal opinion. What about yourself?
Oh, nah. As I said before, I think it definitely Rocco's jersey to lose. Like he's been bloody. Like, I mean, he's sort of hit a few quieter weeks, but I think that not the week before, who did we play against? Can't remember who we played against. Roosters game. He had some really good moments in that game. So I still think it would have been his jersey to lose. But Leotoa is definitely going to be there. Another one who'll be there for a long time. I think we might see potentially weeks where Pompey and Leotoa are both in the centres and maybe shuffling around depending on what happens with some of our wingers and RTS and he would. I think that was one of Pompey's better games as a Warrior. I thought he was a fantastic game.
I thought he was fantastic as well. I was happy to see that. I was really, when you're a Warriors fan and you see this guy who's had a lot of stick and just to see him pull out that performance, I was happy for him. I was just happy in general, obviously when we won, but I was just happy for the guy. Good on him. Just sticking to his game and did it well. I thought it was great, and I'm looking forward to this. But shall we move on to the picks for this week? Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, should we do some Wally Eames real quickly?
Oh, Wally Eames. My bad. Yes, Wally Eames. Yes, go for it.
So for those of you who don't know, Wally Eames, it's our version of Dally Eames, but just for WARS games or WARS players. We give our 3, 2, 1 points. I'll start us off this week. I'll give my 3 points to Murray Martin, actually. I was sort of in between him and my number 2, but I thought that just considering sort of what he's been through this season, he's been getting probably quite a lot of slack from some of the fans. I thought he was just great, especially in the second half. Just led the team, and love to see it. So he gets my 3. Tuapiki gets 2. Yeah, as I said, he was pretty unlucky not to get the 3. I think I was really umming and ahhing between the two of them. But I mean, he's every time he puts the Warriors jersey on, he seems to be getting better and better. So so what you're saying before, it'll be interesting to see how we can, if we're going to manage to hold on to him, because he scored a huge try, clutch kick. And 1 point to your boy Dylan Walker. I thought, he's what a absolute find. Well, I know it wasn't like he was a find, was it? Like he was a well-established player, but the role that he's playing now, he's just playing it so well, and he's such an important part of this team week in, week out. So he gets my 1 point.
Yep, fair enough. This was really hard to pick because there were so many players that deserved a big rap for what they did. For example, my 3 points goes to Tuapiki. My 3, I think he was amazing. His defense was amazing. He was great under the high ball. He scored 10 points on the day with 1 try, 3 conversions. Again, like you said, that clutch conversion to get us over the line. I just thought he was amazing, and also the way he just brought the ball up. He made a few line breaks as well, and it didn't make it easy for the opposition just to bring him down for such a small guy. So he gives my 3 points. I thought he was amazing. Yeah, and that's why I brought up the whole. It's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out for him, because I mean, on the back of that performance, I know it's just a one performance, but every time he's played, you can see that he's got the goods. So if he's not going to be getting regular first grade time, when you got Roger there and you got Chance there, normally, because if Chance is not there, if Chance got injured, for example, normally they'll probably slot Roger back into fullback. But hopefully, this makes Webster go, okay, let's cut that out, keep Roger at centre and put Tuapiki there. If that happens. If that happens, I'm saying. But anyway, my 3 points goes to Tuapiki. This is a real struggle for me to pick up 2 points, but I'm going to give it to Murray Martin. I thought he was amazing. I think he got 3 try assists as well in there. controlled the game well, ran the ball as well. The speed and everything. I just thought he was. I think he needed to perform. He had no choice. He needed to step up. He had no choice but to step up, and he did it. And he did it well. And I thought he was amazing. Good on him, because it gives me a lot of faith now that maybe the Warriors won't be just putting the whole load on Sean Johnson the whole time. If you get what I mean, in future games, if he stays at 5'8" for now until Metcalf comes back, for me I'll be very, 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 very happy if they pass on a little bit of the load to Mario Martin and let him control the game a little bit as well. Do you get what I mean? So my 2 points are there. My 1 point, this was the hardest one because I was tossing up between Dylan Walker, Mitch Barnett, and Chance. I was going to give it to Dylan Walker, but I've actually just changed my mind. I'm going to give it to Chance. Just on the back of I thought that it was he really ignited the team. In my opinion, on attack and defense, he was just there. He took a lot of run ups as well, like he does normally. When he's at fullback, took a lot of run ups and a lot of hits in there, and did that still at 5'8". So, and just his quick thinking that got us into the game and to give us the lead early in the second half. And I just thought he was amazing. So, I mean, to be honest, out of that 3-2-1, either of them could have got 3 points easily as well. So that's why it was hard to pick. But those are my 3-2-1 for the Wally M's. So where are we at with the ladder?
That's nice. The AFB's still far ahead, and notice that I don't think we've said his name, but he's been quite clearly the best player. He's been the best player this year. Yeah, I mean, I think he only had about 60 odd meters, played a lot less minutes. He did play a lot less minutes than he has been. So whatever that rotation was, they sort of had going, meant that he was able to get a bit of a rest. So it's probably good because he's been playing some huge minutes.
Do you think it was a little bit something was wrong? Because, for example, I noticed it on the day. I was like, where is he? Because I know that players probably hit this because of the injuries with Wade coming off, and then you had Marcelo Montoya, HIA, Jackson Ford as well. Players will probably have to step up and say, play on a bit longer. But normally he can play long minutes. He's done it. He's proven that before. But I didn't see him, so I thought something was wrong. Because then at the end of the game, when they showed the bench, celebrating after the win, he was there and he didn't really jump up and celebrate. He was just more like, yeah. I don't know if there was something wrong. Maybe he was feeling a bit ill. I don't know. But just it seemed a little bit missing on that game. But hopefully that's not the case in the next game because he's what we need him.
Yeah, as I say, I don't think we can look into that too much because he's been probably our best player for the last 4 weeks in a row. So maybe we should just said we'll give you a bit of a rest this week. He's obviously still playing this week, so fingers crossed. So tips. I think we both got 5 last week. So we obviously had Zane, the Warrior Holic, on last week, and shout out to him because he got 8 from 8.
Did he?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh,
it was a good 8 from 8 because there was some tough games in there, so it was a great 8 from 8. So we'll have to give him a shout out for that. Myself and Zane got the Raiders, which was another great Raiders game. Raiders are now officially my second favorite team. Love the Raiders. We all got the Broncos over Seagulls, which was a lucky one, 13-12 in the end. Broncos were 12-0 up after about 8 minutes, I think. It looked like it was going to be an absolute walkover. Zane got the Knights and the Sharks. We both went with the Roosters in the Sharks game, and the Knights played against the Titans. But the Titans were robbed in that game, to be honest. I don't know if you saw that try.
Yeah,
but,
I did. Yeah.
Another, just you wonder if they're watching different game tier. We all 3 of us got the Cowboys. You and Zane got the Wars.
Yep.
And we all got the Storm and Dolphins. Yeah, so puts me on 56 and you on 51 for the tips. Round 12, we've got another round of some mouth-watering clashes. Starting off with Bulldogs and the Dragons. The Bulldogs are at home, coming off a loss to the... Who did they play against?
Bulldogs.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dragons come off the bye. Personally, I'm going to go. Could go either way. I'm going to go with Drags.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, it's like I agree with you. It could go either way. This is a hard one to pick because they're pretty on par with each other in terms of form, etc. So yeah, I'll go with the Dragons on this one as well.
Nice. Cowboys Tigers. First early game on Friday night in North Queensland. Cowboys haven't been overly sort of great. I think they won last week, but that was their first win in about 5 or 6 games. Tigers are just one of those teams that sort of have had a few tough games but aren't able to quite pull out of the bag. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with the Tigers.
Okay, yeah, I'll stick with the Cowboys. I think there are a lot of players in there that need to step up. Because Origin's so close. There are a few Origin players in there, incumbent. So yeah, I think that they will need to step up the game just in general. But also they know that Origin selection is just around the corner, so they need to step up. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Nice. Seagull Storm next up on Friday night in 4 Pines Park. Storm coming off another huge win, actually, massive win over the Tigers. Oh, should I pick the Tigers? I forgot that happened. And the Seagulls. Yeah, could have the Seagulls. They came back against the Broncos, but it was Adam Reynolds and Reece Walsh list and Billy Walters list. Broncos, so it's not quite the Seagulls. You think of this rivalry of sort of the late noughties, early 2010s. It's not quite that rivalry at the moment, and the Storm they're just rolling. So I'm pretty happy to take them. Probably take them 13 plus if I'm having a bet.
Oh wow! I'm going Storm.
Oh, this when they get rolling, it's so good. I know Munster's out, but they just seem to, if providing I haven't actually checked, I'm pretty sure Hughes is back this week, and I presume that Wishart will come into. Yeah, Wishard's come to 6, so he's had a couple of great games. So pretty happy
he's been outstanding. Yeah, outstanding. So yeah, I'm picking Storm as well.
My Canberra Raiders up against the Roosters on Saturday afternoon. As much as I love the Durs, I think the Roosters will be hurting from that loss to the Sharks. It's probably a bit much for a Jamal Fogarty-less Raiders team. So even though I'm loving that combination of Ethan Strange and Kyle Weeks, they are a very exciting half pairing to watch. But Roosters for me.
Yeah, Roosters for me as well. It's a no-brainer for me, to be honest. I don't like the Raiders, so yeah.
Interesting. Early mid Saturday game. Sharks Panthers at Shark Park. The Sharks they've proven themselves. They're coming off wins against the Storm and the Roosters. Panthers obviously coming off a famous loss for them against the Mighty Wars.
Yeah.
I know that I'm normally the one who backs the Sharks here, but I think I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think they might bounce back from this one. Yeah,
I'm with you on that one as well. I was going to say, I think they're going to bounce back. I think they'll be really hurting. They are really hurting from it. I mean, the post media conference with Ivan Cleary. I mean, I love Ivan Cleary. Former Warriors coach, took us to the grand final. He played in the grand final. Took us to a grand final when he was coach, but that was pretty. I think that was just pretty poor. What a sook, what a bloody sook to respond that way. I mean, that journalist. I mean, look, being myself, being a journalist, being in the media for a long time, having seen, I've seen a lot of questions being asked that are just really, really cringe. At press conferences and stuff. I've seen it when being a media manager as well. When you see the journalists ask the stupid questions and stuff. It's but I thought. I couldn't tell if this was more like a cringe question, but when the reporter there, I don't know who it was, but she asked, oh, you pretty much lost to a reserve grade team, and I don't think he took that too well. She asked Ivan Cleary, you lost to a reserve grade team. He was like, what? What was that? Like, as in, like he pretended he didn't hear it, or he was just being sarcastic. And then she changed the question, saying, oh, they're out with a lot of injuries, like that. And he said, blah 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 blah, and he just goes, no. Honestly, he had nothing to say. I just thought that was pretty, pretty sour of him, to be honest. Especially when you should be able to say, kudos to the Warriors for playing the way they did, but he couldn't even do that.
Yeah, I know. You'd be pretty. Yeah,
You can still be humble. You still take the one like a man.
Media blew that one up a little bit. I thought that's just like, okay.
Nah.
I like it. It's the Wayne Bennett approach. Yeah, just the one word answers and
he needs to suck some lemons.
Just give nothing. Give nothing.
Yeah.
No disrespect for the great man.
Panthers. Yeah, Panthers. I think the Sharks will caca their pants in this one. So yeah.
Next one's probably one of the harder ones picked this week, judging by how these two teams are playing. The Rabbitohs and the Eels. Eels, got. Oh no, it wasn't. Who did the? Storm beat the Eels, eh? Yeah. So I'm all right. I thought the Storm had smashed the Tigers, and I was just confusing myself. So the Rabbitohs playing the Eels. Rabbitohs weren't far off the Cowboys. They kept in it. And the Eels, coming off an absolute smoking at the hands of the Storm. Is Mitchell Moses back?
No.
Let me just quickly check. Not yet.
Dylan Brown's captain in at 7, and Dejan Arce from the Warriors as well. Yeah, it's 6. But I just think that's where I think that's where they've got it wrong. Is that they just don't have a playmaker. I mean, Dylan Brown's an awesome playmaker. I think he's a 5'8" more than a halfback. I've said that before, and I think also because of the disruption with Brad Arthurs as well, being sacked effective immediately. I think that's just going to play a bit because you've got the coach that's the interim coach is Trent Barrett.
How does that guy keep getting coaching jobs? Honestly,
I don't know. Well, he keeps going to clubs as an assistant coach, so people know that assistant, it's all good. But then something like this happens, and then he just wow, hey, wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
He's proven he's not head coach material, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'd love to know if there's a stat. There's a stat on coaches leaving. I feel like probably it doesn't work in their favour, but it's probably has from time to time. Hard to bet the Rabbitohs, but was that? Yeah,
I'm backing the Rabbitohs.
I'm gonna go the Eels. I'm gonna say Dylan Brown will put on a show, and get the Eels home. It's a pretty yuck game, and it's pretty amazing it's a yuck game because it's the finalists from 2021 and 2022. They both made it. So how the mighty have fallen. Broncos, Titans. Titans playing some pretty good footy, but I don't think they'll be able to keep up with the Broncos. So pretty confident, pretty happy to back the Broncos there.
Yep. Yeah. I'm going with the Broncos. I mean, I've really enjoyed the Titans footy of late. I think they've been playing pretty well, and I think they've been pretty unlucky, to be honest. Like, I think they should be on a 3-game winning streak, to be honest. I think that's what it should be for them. But I think they, without Kieran Foran at 7, at the moment, I think that just gives them just a little less firepower there. So and I think Broncos will be too strong in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the Broncos will have Reece Walsh back, according to NRL.com. And also have Billy Walters will also be back. So big wins for them. I mean, look at the Titans' halves. Chris Randall and Tom Weaver. Oh, gosh. Who?
Yeah, exactly.
And finally, they're saving the best for last this week. The Wars in the late Sunday game. Doesn't happen that often, which is a bit of a debacle. Are you going
to be a trader again?
Oh no, not against the Finns. I do love the Finns. They're my third favorite team. Actually, I went to this game last year. It was I think it was back Queen's birthday weekend, and the Wars had a big win. So I'm backing the Wars for a big win, 13+.
Yeah, no, I'm backing. I wouldn't say 13+, but I'm backing them for a win. But I have to don't know for this game. I'm going to say 1-12. 1-12. I'll say 1-12. I think the Dolphins, as I mentioned previously, they are it's a team that no one really gives them a chance. no one says much about them, but they're doing the goods. They keep doing the
I'll give
goods,
them that.
and they're doing it quietly, and I'm pretty sure they're happy about that. They're just doing it quietly. They're up there. I mean, whereabouts are they now on the ladder? I think they're up there. They're in 4th position, so you know they're proving themselves. They're proving
It's
themselves.
ridiculous.
So,
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Wayne Bennett, what an absolute genius.
Yeah.
Absolute genius.
Yeah, exactly. He knows what he's doing, and like I said, I think that he doesn't. I think he personally doesn't mind that they're doing it all under wraps. You know what I mean? Like no one's getting
absolutely
the headlines and stuff. So
the reason that he you know, delayed that South decision for so long was just, you know, just keeping everyone talking about that. What's he going to do next year? Like he obviously knew. I don't know if you saw the quotes today, but he was saying, you know, I always said this was going to happen from the start. You know, I always wanted to go back, and so yeah, go. I mean, I love the Finns, but up the Waz, they'll get up.
Me too.
Hopefully, I sold out. Mount Smart, Go Media Stadium, whatever they call it these days.
Yeah,
and we can all. Yeah, but right in the middle of kids' bedtime though, it's real debacle. So hopefully, I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to get the wife to you know, take both of them this week.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, I'm thankfully for my wife. She understands that this is a big deal to me, so she always lets me have that time slot. That's always good. So whenever they're playing, but I mean I think that you know. Going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Let's see if, like, you know, the Warriors can, you know, repeat what they did on Sunday again against the Finns. And then if we do, then let's see what happens after that, because we've got a bye. And then who have we got after the bye? Let's just have a quick look.
Not sure, sorry.
It'll be
off the top of my head.
round 14. I think it's the Cowboys on Saturday. Yeah, so yeah, going to be interesting. Well, that's all we've got for tonight, right?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Sorry we're going to bring on. Sorry for the bit of a delay. That was my fault. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We thank you for your support. The support has actually been climbing up for us, so you know it's really good. We're really loving it. Keep spreading the news about us, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good night, and go the Waz.
Up the Waz, brother.